Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you all how to make a lace closure wig with a 5x5 lace closure in 4 bundles. I ordered this hair from Amazon. It was $177 totaled. The name of the company is So Joy. So if you're interested in knowing how I constructed this unit and got the end result, please make sure that you stay tuned. Again, make sure that you turn on your notification bell, you leave a comment, and you subscribe. Thank you.
Say, little bitch, you can fuck with me if you wanted to. These expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Hit the school, I can get them both, I don't wanna choose. And I'm quick, cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look.
Let's get started. So first things first, you're wanting to customize your lace closure. So as you can see, there is water on the closure, and that's just because I wet the front of the lace closure just to get the hair to be uniform and out of the way before I start bleaching the knots. So these are the products that I'm going to use to bleach the knots, and I'm putting it in a plastic cup because it's an easier cleanup. So I'm just going to take a couple of scoops of the lightener and pour in the developer and begin the concoction and apply it to my my lace closure. So I kind of also forgot to put gloves on, and that's just merely because I'm so used to doing this that it honestly slips my mind, even though I show it. Sometimes I genuinely forget to put it on. But this is the consistency that you're wanting your lightener to be. You don't want it to be too runny, but you also do not want it to be too thick. Once you have it to the consistency of your liking, you can proceed to apply it to your closure. As you see, I'm just smoothing it out with the back of the spoon. I feel like this works best for me. It's like I said in my previous video, it's almost like applying like jelly or peanut butter to a sandwich. It's just the easier application. So you're wanting to make sure that you smooth the bleach over every ounce or every piece of the closure, just simply because you don't want to miss any spots and have like a bleached scalp, and then in some spots you still see the black knots. So just take your time and apply it slowly. Just take your time. So once you're done, you'll let that sit for about maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And once it's done or your timer goes off, you can proceed with shampooing it out. The shampoo that you're going to need to use the purple shampoo. That's just going to eliminate the brassiness. But as you can see, this is what it's going to look like. So here is where mistakes happen. So if you look closely, you can see that I have hot roots. And what that means is that you can see the root of the closure. Some of the bleach got onto it. So this is how I fix that when that happens. I really don't like the natural color of hair when it comes in this natural brown color. So 9 times out of 10, I'm coloring my hair jet black. So this is just the process that I had to take anyway. So it wasn't like I wasn't going to do this, but now I just have to be more cautious and make sure that I am covering up the blonde that has now penetrated to the actual hair. So make sure you have everything separated. And this part I did use gloves just because I didn't want the black dye to get onto my hand. So as you can see, I'm taking a small section and then I'm just taking the nozzle and I'm going up as close as I can to the hairline without overdoing it. And then I'm just smoothing the product all over the hair. So you're going to start at the root, and then whatever excess you have, you're just going to smooth it all the way down and just apply more as you need it. But the nozzle, I like this, I guess, applicator bottle just because the nozzle is very small, so it allows me to control the color a lot more versus using like an application brush where the color can still run off. So I really like the nozzle. But like I said, when this happens, you're just going to glide the color back onto the roots of the hair to conceal where you over bleach. It's not an issue. It's not the end of the world. It is fixable. You just have to take your time and go back in and cover up the spots. So while the closure and the color is processing, you can move on to your bundles. This is fairly simple just because there isn't any type of strategic way I'm doing this. You're just really taking the color and massaging it all into the hair. And like I said, this is just ultimately because I don't like the natural brown color. So once you're done, this is what your closure should look like. I did pluck it just a little bit, so that's why it looks a lot less dense. So you're just going to apply it to your wig cap, and then you're going to begin sewing. So you're just going to get it as close to the edge of the cap as you can, but leave like maybe a centimeter of the lace above the actual cap. And this is just going to make sure that it fits your head. So the actual mannequin head that I got, I ordered it from Amazon. It's by the company G like girl EX, and the mannequin size that I got was a 22-inch, and that's just because I feel like that is the average size, and that's honestly the size of my head, give or take maybe minus or plus an inch, but ultimately that's the circumference of my head. So every time I make a wig on the stand or the mannequin head, I never have an issue. It's my actual size. So when you're getting ready to start constructing your own wigs, make sure that you buy a mannequin head that is the size of your actual circumference of your head. And that way it ensures that you have the perfect fit for your wigs every single time. But as you can see, I'm just going around one side of the closure. My method to applying my closures or sewing them onto the wig is I do it side by side, and that ensures that I have a flat closure. There's no bumps, there's nothing rolled up, there isn't any type of imperfections. So you're wanting to make sure that you are still applying tension. However, you want to do it one side after the other. You don't want to go from the side to the back to the other side, because you're going to more than likely have an uneven closure. And as you can see, the threads sometimes get tangled up. And that's just another annoying thing. You just have to like take your time and make sure that the hair isn't getting caught up into the thread. That's what's making it tangle or get knotted up. So you just have to keep an eye and clip the hair out of the way. So I've done with that side, so I'm just going to move over to the other side. And I'm just aligning everything, making sure that everything is even, and creating tension to make sure that you have a flat closure. So I always sew on the actual wig cap first before I sew through the closure. That's just to create like a barrier and like a foundation so that the closure isn't lifting. But it's the same steps. I do sew under. I don't do like the loop method or anything like that. Sometimes like throughout the closure, I may double knot it just to ensure that it doesn't lift or the thread doesn't become like stringy and gets old. So I create knots along the way to make sure that it's secured. So once you're done with the closure, you're going to start with the bundles. So my method to applying my bundles to my wig cap is I start from the edge of the closure or frontal, and then I sew all around the perimeter of the actual cap. I do this just simply because this one track is basically like the anchor track. This is to ensure that if the wind blows wrong or what may have you, when the hair blows back, all you see is hair. You don't see cap. You don't see anything like that. So this method just allows me to cover all of the tracks around or what's inside the wig. So this is like the perimeter track. So just sew that all around until you get to the other side, and then you can begin sewing in the middle of the cap. So just watch me. It's not a difficult task. As long as you know how to sew, then you can make a wig. You just have to understand the placement of your tracks and ultimately know the result that you're going for. So you have to have a plan when you're sewing. So as you can see, as I turned the mannequin around, this track is just going around the perimeter of the wig. I'm not sewing through the elastic band that you see, like the thick band on the wig cap. I'm sewing like there's like 2 layers. I'm sewing through the first layer and not penetrating this, like the entire elastic band. If you do so, your wig isn't going to be able to stretch. So it's going to be extremely tight. So do not sew through that band. And as I move through this process, the next track that would typically go like right above it, you'll see that I place that track above the actual band. You don't want to sew on that band at all, because again, you're going to affect the elasticity in the cap and you're not going to be able to stretch it. So just continue to sew that perimeter track all around the head of the wig. And like I said, this acts as a barrier. This prevents your wig or your tracks from showing when the wind blows back. So as you can see, like I said, this thread just be blowing me because it gets tangled so quickly. But once you learn how to get it from untangled, you will be fine. So I'm just, like I said, still sewing it all the way around. It's a very redundant process. It really doesn't take too much technique. You just have to, again, understand the placement of your tracks. So once you're done, you're just going to cut off the excess hair, and then you can proceed with the back of the hair. So this is just one bundle. The first bundle has been sewed on, and this is just where I'm at. So I'm just going to proceed with the remaining 4 bundles to fill up the cap. So yeah, just continue to watch and you'll see the finished product. So now I'm done sewing all of the tracks. I'm on the very last track. So this track, I'm just connecting it to the closure to close everything up. So I did use all 4 bundles except maybe like an inch of the last bundle. It wasn't that much hair left over. I sewed everything very closely together. There wasn't any type of gaps or like any type of 1-inch partings. I like full hair, so I tend to try to go for all of my hair. The first 2 bundles, they were double wefted, so I basically did a double track. And then the next 2 bundles, I did it singled. So I'm just closing, like I said, I'm closing up the wig. This will be the last track, and then I'm just going to cut it off and then begin styling. So now I'm done sewing. So now it's back to customizing the closure. It is again a 5x5 closure. So I have a lot of parting space. So ultimately I'm trying to make this look as realistic as possible. Almost like how you would customize a frontal. So as you can see, I parted out the baby hairs, and I'm just going to begin to cut them and then start carving them into the position that I want them to go in. Ultimately, baby hair is not a necessity, but it gives more personality to your hairstyle. Also, it's something that people use to hide the line of demarcation, because we all know this is lace. It's not growing from our scalp or anything of that sort. So ultimately, the baby hair, just like I said, it conceals the line of demarcation. So the motion that you're wanting to use when you are creating your baby hairs, you're kind of wanting to think of like a wave. So you're wanting to use like an S motion or like a C motion with your brush, comb, whatever you may use. And the more product that you put on the baby hair, the easier it is to actually go into the position that you want it to go in. So don't use like any heavy weighted products, something that's going to leave the hair like crunchy or something that's going to leave the hair like harsh. You're wanting to use a very light product. This is Herbal Essence, and I just use their holding mousse. It's like, it has like whatever, however they number it, it has the number 3 for the holding. But as you can see, you're just swooping literally the hairs into place. And then once you let it dry, it kind of has that permanent hold. So just kind of, you have to force it. The hair is so silky. You got to force it into place. And like I said, the more product, the easier the hair is to swoop. Once you have your desired look, you can then proceed with letting it dry. You'll see shortly I used a scarf to tie everything down. But I just had to make sure that the swoops were, you know, how I would like them to be. So now I have everything situated, and this is just a scarf that I'm using to tie everything down. I'm just going to let it sit for about maybe 10 minutes, and then I'll come back. So now everything has been setting, and now I have the wig on my head. As you saw, I had a ball cap underneath it, and I just popped the wig on. It's not secured, but it's my head. It's not like glued on, but it's secured on my head just simply because it's my head size, so it's not moving. It's literally on my head, and I didn't have to use any type of glue. And that's why I like lace closure units, because you have less lace to worry about, but you can still get the look of an actual frontal. So as you can see from the hairline, everything looks really natural. There isn't any type of you can't see like the line of demarcation. The closure doesn't look bulky or wiggy. I'm just taking my wand curler and adding some curls, and then I'll show a picture of the end results. But the hair itself, it was very easy to work with. I didn't have any issues as far as shedding. I didn't have any issues as far as tangling. The hair was very soft, very manageable. It didn't come with any type of smell. It held the curl very well. The curl is actually still in my hair. And this video was recorded maybe about 4 or 5 days ago. So all in all, the hair was very good. It was definitely worth the $177. Like I said, I got 4 bundles, in 18, 20, 22, 24. And then the closure was 5x5, and it's 18 inches. So I'm just taking, like I said, my wand curler and just adding some curls to it. Nothing too uniform, just like a messy beach wave look. And over the days, the curls will just drop into like this gorgeous beach wave. So yeah, I'm just curling everything, getting everything styled and uniform. There is like a shiny glare that's coming off, and that's because that's hairspray. I hairsprayed it just to make sure that all of the flyaways were uniformed, and I kind of put too much in that area, so that's why it looks like that. But it was all fixed when it was all said and done. So I'm almost done with that side. That's how you kind of create like that infamous hump that you see everyone have in the front of their head. But I'm really giving off scalp. I didn't have to put any makeup there or anything to conceal the part. It was just pulling off natural looks. So I'm just holding it there. You want to hold the barrel for about maybe 10 seconds and then release the curl. And that's how it's going to ultimately look. You just have to place it how you want it to look. But I was very happy with the results. And here's the picture of how it looked when I was all done. I was really happy with the results. If you have any other questions, please make sure you leave a comment, or you DM me or send me an email. But again, thank you guys for your constant support. Bye, guys.